Bagram Air Base, Afghanistan, a Special Operations Quick Reaction Force is loading aboard 2 helicopters, call signs Razor 1 and Razor 2. On board Razor 1, the men settle in for an apparent routine search and rescue mission to recover a Navy SEAL reported missing on a mountain called Takur Gar. Unaware that an earlier rescue attempt has left 2 men dead, Razor 1 approaches a landing site and is immediately caught in a crossfire by Al-Qaeda fighters dug in on the 10,000-foot-high mountain summit. The 21 men on board Razor 1 and their fight to survive has become known as the Battle of Roberts Ridge. Operation Anaconda is a combined special operations and conventional force mission to destroy Al-Qaeda forces in the Shai-Kot Valley. Located in eastern Afghanistan near the Pakistani border, the valley floor is at 8,500 feet and surrounded by snow-capped mountains.
There were 3 villages within Shai-Kot Valley, and our special operators were convinced that there were about 150, maybe 200 foreign Al-Qaeda inside those villages. The original plan was a hammer and anvil. The hammer was going to be our Afghan allies, led by our Green Berets, that were going to attack those villages and either kill them there or drive them into us in the mountains.
The anvil is the U.S. 10th Mountain Division and elements of the 101st Airborne Division. Al-Qaeda forces attempting to escape into Pakistan must face mortars and heavy machine guns.
We looked at the escape routes, and that's what we were going to block, and we did in fact think that they were going to try to run. We knew some would stay and fight, but we thought they would try to get their key leaders out through those mountain passes.
For 2 days, U.S. conventional forces and clandestine special operation teams pressed the fight against Al-Qaeda amid the rocky terrain.
I'm here to tell you, those that we fought, those foreign Al-Qaeda, fought to the death. These are not people that you can negotiate with. These Al-Qaeda are absolutely fanatical. They view us as infidels. The only way we're going to beat them is by going out and killing them.
Operation Anaconda is the largest U.S. land battle of the Afghan war, and resistance is fierce.
Their commander was calling this a jihad, and they thought that they were going to take on the Americans just as they had fought the Soviets in that same valley on 2 previous occasions and killed hundreds of them. Not only did they not run and continue to fight, they brought in reinforcements.
Intercepted Al-Qaeda radio transmissions revealed the original estimate of 200 Al-Qaeda to be a serious miscalculation. In 7 separate landing zones, American soldiers are facing a suspected 800 to 1,000 foreign Al-Qaeda fighters.
The United States Army had anticipated a rather quick operation, but on the first day, they encountered unexpectedly heavy resistance at the southern end of the valley.
When the Americans landed there, they weren't facing any half-assed mountain boys. These men had been trained, they had been seasoned in warfare in Afghanistan. Many had taken on the Russians, many had learned from that combat experience.
They were not Afghans. These were primarily veterans from Chechnya, from Uzbek, some Mongol Chinese, some Pakis, but they were well armed, they were well outfitted, they were in Gore-Tex, looked like it was right off the shelf. We found tens of thousands of dollars on all of them. This was the jihad in which they were hoping the Americans would find themselves, and they were out there to kill us.
Multiple U.S. Navy SEALs, Special Forces, and Coalition recon teams operating in the surrounding mountains coordinate air and artillery strikes and employ snipers. One sniper reports eliminating nearly an entire squad of enemy personnel.
The special operators were there to provide reconnaissance and to kill some of the Al-Qaeda that posed obvious threats to us. And they were able to take out some key positions. We don't think the Al-Qaeda ever knew where they were getting shot from.
In the early hours of Day 3, an additional SEAL reconnaissance team, call sign Mako 3, prepares to insert on a mountaintop called Takur Gar, southeast of the battle.
To get a better view of what was going on in the valley, a decision was made to place a special operations team of 6 Navy SEALs plus an Air Force controller on the top of Takur Mountain.
Aircraft mechanical problems delay Mako 3's departure by over 4 hours, pushing the team dangerously close to inserting in daylight. But Mako 3's mission is deemed critical, and to make up time, the team bypasses their original landing zone located 2 kilometers from the top and prepares to insert directly at the summit, hoping to occupy a concealed position under the cover of darkness.
So they made that decision to go in there. In my view, that was the right call, because it was such a key piece of ground.
Now, that mountain had been hit extensively by AC-130 gunships, as well as close air support. However, intelligence could not see the fortified positions that were planted throughout that mountainside.
As Mako 3 hovers over the summit of Takur Gar, intense gunfire riddles their helicopter, causing it to turn violently and lurch down the mountainside at a 45-degree angle.
Somewhere in the commotion or as a result of the impact, Petty Officer Neil Roberts was launched out of the helicopter and landed upon the mountain. The helicopter was heavily damaged. It flew about 4 miles away, was able to land there.
They did a head count and confirmed that, in fact, they were missing someone, and it was those covert operators on the ground that said, we're going to go back in and get him.
These 5 SEAL members plus an Air Force sergeant named John Chapman went right to the same spot that the original helicopter had been hit at and where Roberts had fallen out of.
The SEALs are facing a numerically superior force, a battle-seasoned force, who has the upper hand in not only location but in the fortification of their own defenses. They hit stiff resistance right away.
As Mako 3 fights for life on the mountaintop, miles away at Bagram Airfield, 2 helicopters are loading up a Special Operations Quick Reaction Force to rescue Roberts.
The call came before dawn on the morning of March 4th. The helicopter had been down. Some troops were in trouble. The early reports were very, very sketchy. The Rangers really were not quite sure what was going on.
I just laid down to go to sleep, and that's when they said, hey, get ready, we got a mission coming up. We got all our gear, ran into the headquarters there, and what's going on?
For quick reaction forces, the nature of the business is that you're going to get very little information when you go somewhere. It's going to be a mission statement and commander's intent. And en route, if you're flying, you hope to get fed additional information so you're prepared for the fight when you arrive.
When this happened, it was so short notice that it was like, okay, something went wrong. Let's get you guys out there. We'll figure it out as we go. We needed to react.
There are 2 helicopters, Razor 1 and Razor 2. Inside Razor 1, 10 Army Rangers, 3 Air Force pararescue and combat controllers, and 8 Army aircrew expect this to be a routine mission.
Everything normally tends to be quiet on the back of the helicopter. That's when everybody's getting into the game, thinking about, okay, what do I got to do, you know, when I come off the helicopter.
Tech Sergeant Kerry Miller from the Air Force was a pararescueman, and he had a fellow pararescueman with him, a senior airman named Jason Cunningham. They're getting ready for wounded. Staff Sergeant Gabe Brown is a combat controller with that team. His job is going to be communications. The Ranger team leader, Captain Nathan Self, has his Rangers, and they're preparing how they will set up when they hit the ground. So everyone had their own job as they were going in.
On the ground, Mako 3 has suffered 2 men dead, Neil Roberts and John Chapman, and 2 more badly wounded. As daylight breaks, their air cover gone, Mako 3 is forced from the mountaintop.
Primarily speaking to the men who were on Razor 1, which was the lead helicopter. They knew they were going in to get some guys out. But the specifics of what have happened to the previous helicopters that have taken fire and the enemy strongholds, they don't know in great detail. What it instead was, here's another mission, let's go knock it out, never really understanding the very bad situation that they were about to fly into.